Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Linda. I'm Linda. You know I love a good conversation, so let's have one. Founder and owner of Perfect Tax Solutions, LLC, Gina Williams stands out for her strong passion and great dedication to helping others achieve their goals and be successful in their lives. She is renowned as a highly self-motivated and deeply organized professional who exhibits sound business judgment and analytical skills with a proven record of accomplishment to guarantee high standards and results. Founded in 2016, Perfect Tax Solutions offers professional tax services, financial and credit advising. As a financial advisor, Gina has nurtured an unwavering passion for empowering people to make smart financial decisions towards creating generational wealth. She offers her clients exhaustive market analysis and extensive financial analysis to achieve excellent results. She has previously worked in the management field, training and developing future leaders to manage career transitions, start or build a business, or make major life changes. Gina has also worked in the real estate industry with remarkable results in her career and pursuits. In 2017, Gina became a real estate investor and property manager. 3 years later, Gina became a licensed realtor in Tennessee. The one thing that makes working with Gina worthwhile is her relentless effort to pursue her clients' dreams like they were her own. Conversations with Linda, welcome to the show, Gina Williams. Gina, it is awesome. It's a pleasure. I'm delighted to have you. Welcome to Conversations with Linda.
Thank you.
I say all of that, y'all, because Gina is a protege, a goddaughter, I think, to Shauna Burton, one of my crew members. So that's why I'm saying this. She's been telling me, Pastor Linda, you've got to meet Gina. So welcome. I'm so glad to have this conversation.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Okay. So I've said in reading your bio that you are a tax preparer. Really, you're every woman. Okay. But we're going to start with the hat that you wear as a tax preparer. What started you in this business?
What started me in the business is I'd always been doing taxes for close friends and family members.
Okay. You're that person.
Yeah, I'm that person. I'm that person. For many, many years ago, I was doing taxes for close friends and family members.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, I was working for a corporation that just did not value their employees.
Okay.
And so in speaking with another friend of mine, she'd recommend me taking a course because I had the previous experience and I was really good with working with people.
Uh-huh.
And I took the course, and in a nutshell, the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just made it your business.
I just made it my business after the overwhelming support that I received my first year.
Okay.
It was enough motivation and courage for me to actually leave my full-time career, and I opened up my own office.
You go, girl.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
But tax season is upon us. All right, you all take a deep breath. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people make in filing their taxes?
The number one biggest mistake is not being forthcoming with your tax professional.
That would be truthful.
Yes.
Honest.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
come on.
So for example, if you have a primary job, but you've worked a few part-time jobs, people omit in telling their tax professional that they had those in additional jobs.
I love this language. They omit. Okay, come on. All right. We have a little fun on conversations. I don't know if I told you, but our audience, they're called chit chatters.
Okay.
And so I promise you, I'm having to interpret these
nice,
nice, pretty words.
Okay, they lie. they just flat out lie. Ask you, how many jobs did you have? And they say one, knowing they had 4.
Okay. All right.
So they do not disclose, their true income.
Okay.
And then another common mistake is not having enough federal taxes withheld from their job. So a lot of people say, I like my money throughout the year.
Right.
But at the end of the year, they still expect these big refunds. Right. And they don't understand that paying into your federal taxes throughout the year makes a huge difference when it comes to getting a nice tax return.
Okay. So I want to make sure that y'all get that now, because this is March, and people are, those who know they're getting a refund, they're probably already filled out their taxes, filled out their forms. But for others who are just not sure or know they have to pay, like me, we wait to the end. So making sure that you disclose, tell the truth about your income.
Correct.
Second is having the right amount of federal taxes withheld.
Correct.
So you don't have that big sum at the end that you got to. Okay. And then give me one more.
One more would be retirement.
Okay.
So in addition to if you had an additional jobs that you don't report, a lot of people do not know that you have to file a Form 1099-R for your retirement. So if you withdraw money from your retirement, then that's actual income that is counted into your overall gross income. And some people, they don't know that. So wait
a minute. Let me slow this down. So if a person is retired, they withdraw money.
No. So let me start back. I'm sorry. So there's two types. There are people that are currently employed that withdraw from their 401k.
Okay. I'm with you now.
Right.
Okay.
So the people that are retired, that's completely separate. You're owed that.
Okay.
But people that are currently working and they withdraw from their 401k early, then they are actually penalized. And that income, that amount that they take from their 401k, whether it be 5,000 or 20,000, that actually counts as income overall for them.
Oh, okay.
So that needs to be reported.
You got to report. I know somebody that got in trouble. I do know that.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you think, well, I'm just getting my money. Why would I have to report it and then turn around and pay taxes?
Correct.
But we wouldn't have to pay taxes if we were at retirement age. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, we're getting it together. Okay, so when tax season starts, you see a lot of people start these little mom and pop businesses.
Yes.
Okay. How can someone know if a tax specialist is legit? Now, this is a pain point for me, Gina, because I have not had good luck with tax preparers. Girl, let me tell you. Okay, I know this is not about me, but let me tell you about
me. Tell us, because I want to know.
So, we moved to Memphis from Dallas, and this was 30 years ago. But one tax preparer, beautiful office, came highly recommended. He ended up going to prison. Yes. Oh, wow. One tax preparer was someone that I knew, but then he left his wife and moved. And now, all our taxes that you've been doing our taxes for a few years now. Okay, y'all feel me? Anyway, how do you find, and can I tell you this last one before you give me this answer? One tax preparer, again, these are all highly recommended people. These are not that I just drove by and saw a sign on a door. These are highly recommended people. Went back the next year to this lady, filed our taxes, went back the next year. Nobody knew where she was. So we were like trying to find her because, of course, when you go to a tax preparer, they have all your stuff.
Right.
She was selling cars. She was no longer doing taxes. And okay, so now y'all feel me. Tell us, how do we know that a person who says, I'm a tax preparer, let me prepare your taxes, how do we know that they're legit?
Okay. Well, number one, you want to research that individual yourself. I understand recommendations, and I get a lot of referrals, and I'm thankful for them.
Okay.
But I always tell my new clients, you can check me out on my social media page.
Okay.
I'm just not available during peak tax season. I actually offer services year round.
Okay, got you. So that's something to look for if that person does taxes year round.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Another way is to, on the IRS website, there's a preparer lookup, so you can actually look their name up to make sure that they're actually registered with the IRS.
Okay.
That's another good way.
Okay.
And then just asking them questions. if there's a big gap, if your refund was $5,000 with your previous preparer, and then this new tax person says you're getting $10,000, monitor and ask those questions.
Okay.
And what I like to do with all of my new clients, if possible, COVID kind of made it a little distant, but I like to interview them because I want to make sure that you're a good fit for my company.
Okay.
And I'm not just, gonna put anything on your return. I actually explain everything that you're getting on your return. So having someone that actually takes the time out to you to explain it. Every year I have certain clients that I fuss at about their federal withholdings, but they'll never say that I didn't tell them. So researching online, whether it be through their website, they should have a website. I would, recommend a website, Google reviews. I'm on Google, the IRS website, and just using really good judgment. Asking them how long they've been in business, and you just getting the feel for them, and vice versa.
Okay, so you all do your due diligence to find out if these folk are legit. I really thought we had legit people, and actually these people did our taxes. All three of them did our taxes several years in a row, but maybe just life happened. Maybe life happened. I don't know.
And I would recommend asking, like, is this something you do part-time, or where do you see yourself? For me, I'm in it for the long run, so it's not just I'm here today, gone tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Unless God says otherwise. But just asking them what their goals are, and I feel like your personal life is a reflection of your business life as well. So
that's so true.
Monitor that.
That's so true. Monitor that. That. Okay, so with COVID, we got a lot of stimulus checks, and then you got child tax credits that people, either they borrow a child or,
child.
I'm sure you've seen it all. You've seen it all. But since this is tax season, talk about that. How are people going to be affected by stimulus checks that they receive, or are they? And what about these child tax credits? Will the IRS pay attention to you had 5 children last year and you have 0 this year? Talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as the stimulus check, that actually does not have to be repaid.
Okay.
They'll send you a notice. And
somebody just fell out of their chair right there.
yeah. So you do not have to pay the actual stimulus check back.
Okay.
With the child, it's called the advanced child tax credit because it's actually an advance on your credit that you get for the dependents. And so I've had some cases where the grandmother may have been filing her child, and we didn't know that these payments would come about, and when they were getting these monthly payments and not giving them to the mother, that may have caused some strife. And so they went from claiming, one dependent to no dependents. And so what I advise them is that on the mother or the person that actually is filing them this year, that they need to include that credit. You can't double dip.
Okay.
So it was an actual advance payment. So you have to pay it back. It's coming out of your tax return.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're getting it all. You are really giving me some good information to help my cousin them. We all have some family members that you have to help out because we know that they get kind of caught up. Y'all know I'm trying to be nice. They get kind of caught up.
Yes.
How can someone who always has to pay back, prepare throughout the year for tax season?
Okay, this is a good one.
Okay.
So what I tell my clients now, if you say didn't have enough federal taxes withheld from your check, check it now. If you're getting a refund this season, say your refund drop next week, because you have that extra cushion, go ahead and change your W-4 form.
Okay.
Change it now.
Okay.
And I actually post on my page throughout the year, check your W-4 withholding. So you get that reminder. For me, I have clients, I had one on the way here. She texted me, "Hey, Gina, did I fill this form out right?" And so I'll give her a call afterwards to let her know, you need to do X, Y, Z. But just monitor your weekly or your bi-weekly pay stub to see if taxes are coming out. And if nothing is coming out, or if you feel like it's not enough, you can actually set an amount to come out as well.
Really? You can set an amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can, based on what happened last year, you can say, I don't want to be in that position again. And who do you set that amount with? How do you do that? Because most people are, if they're in corporate America, they just get a W-4. Who do you say, I want this amount taken out of my? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. So,
Okay.
so they fill out the W-4 form and they answer the questions based on their situation.
Okay.
And then there's a line that says if you want an additional amount taken out per pay period, you can actually put that on there.
Okay.
And then you turn it into HR, and then HR inputs it, and it starts coming out like that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Not only do you do taxes, but you're also a financial advisor. Being someone that loves to shop. All right. Somebody put that in my cue card, because who is exposing me? Who is telling my business? What kind of financial advice? I don't know that I need the advice, but okay, if y'all want to say it's me, give me some tips, or give somebody some tips that's trying to be financially wise.
Honestly, I feel like if you know your situation, you know if you're living beyond your means, you know if you really need that pair of shoes, and so making those conscious decisions. I myself have to put myself on restraints. Right. My goal for 2022 is no handbags.
Okay.
And we are in March, and I have not purchased one.
All right.
The big
practice restraint.
Practice restraint and start small. A lot of times people think big, or I got to pay this, $5,000 bill off. Start I call it the snowball effect. Okay. Take your smallest debt and start working towards it, and then work your way up to the larger ones.
Okay. So y'all hear that, chit chatters? Start small, snowball effect, practice restraint. All right. I'm saying it to you. I'm saying it to myself. However, you said, your own situation. Honey, I don't have no small children anymore. I can spend some money on me. I spent years spending money on my children, my husband, everybody else. It is my time. Okay. So I digress. Let me get back. You also provide credit advising. And our chit chatters, a lot of them are entrepreneurs. So what would you say to the entrepreneur as it relates to credit and building credit as a business person, as an entrepreneur?
Okay. What I would say is, number one, your business credit is a reflection of your personal credit. And a lot of people think, oh, my personal credit is not good, so I'm gonna go start building up my business credit. They are a mirror of each other.
Yes.
So the number one rule of advice is not commingling your funds. Okay. So if you have a business, treat it as a business, and make sure that you have a business bank account. Because when it comes to applying for business credit, the creditor is going to ask for those business expenses and reports. And if you paying your rent out of your business account, or you don't have a business account, then that's going to negatively impact their decision.
And so what? Square Cash, or the Cash apps, those are not considered just a business. Should a person be transacting business out of that to be the sole thing that they have? I know when people are making purchases, it works.
Well, it depends on the type of business, because I use Cash App. I have an account for my business that I use for business things, and then I also have a personal one as well.
Gotcha.
And it's linked to my business account.
Okay.
And then the other one is linked to my personal account.
Okay.
So as long as, again, you don't commingle the two, then I haven't had any issues with it. I was able to purchase a commercial building, with showing those expenses. So, just make sure that you do not combine the two.
Okay. So everybody gets that when we got to have two separate accounts, and track it is what you're telling us.
Yes.
Okay. You're helping the people.
Yes.
You're helping the people. And really it's because, I think this is definitely the culture for entrepreneurship. But how many people have business acumen that nobody, so you've got either a gift, a product, a talent that you are marketing, but you don't have that business sense.
take a course, invest in your business.
Yeah.
You got to spend money to make money.
Absolutely.
And what I see a lot of, and it disappoints me because I was doing business mentorship, but I kind of pulled back from it because people don't want to listen. And you got to listen and you got to take guidance. And they look at, on social media, the people that have millions of followers, and they just go out and, I purchased an LLC. I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. It's a mindset. You truly have to have someone and systems in places to hold you accountable. And if not, you will flop.
Okay. It's interesting that we're talking about this because I share with you that I have just finished up my dissertation.
Yes.
Graduating in May. It'll be Dr. Linda. Y'all call me Dr. Linda from now on. But anyway, I did my dissertation on how to build a successful clinical practice, because as I've matriculated through school, one of the things I found out is that school prepares you with tools and techniques to be a clinician. But if you're going to be in private practice, you still need the business side of that. And school doesn't give you that.
Absolutely.
So whether you, when you get out of school, graduate from school, and you hang out your shingle, you may be a specialist in what you do. You may be good at it and horrible at business just because you don't know. And it can make you appear to be a poor clinician, and it's not that. You just don't have the business tools. You just have the clinical tools. So on top of that, though, you're saying to listen when you are given the information, when you are educated. Okay. All right. I love it. Before I go to anything else, I think I want to stop and take a commercial break so that we can switch hats and come on back. Y'all, we're having a wonderful conversation. Aren't you all enjoying this? I know we don't like to talk about taxes, but we like to get our tax money back and, go buy crab legs and all that. Okay, I digress. All right. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back to Conversations with Linda. I am having a wonderful conversation, an informative conversation with Gina Williams. She is a tax preparer, of course, as we've already mentioned, but she wears many, many hats. And we're going to transition to the other hats that she wears. But before we do that, Gina, I wanted to revisit with you, because I said to you during the commercial break, I'm keeping it light because I know that talking about taxes can be nervous.
Yes.
It can be, cause people to be nervous. And you said some interesting things. I wanted you to share that with our chit chatters.
The most important thing that I want to share with people is if you've received a letter from the IRS, a notice of an audit or review, not to just throw it on the counter or, the initial reaction is to be shocked, of course.
Yeah.
However, make sure that you immediately contact your professional that helped you with those taxes. If you did it on your own, then you may want to, hire someone to assist you, but do not ignore the letter. Many, many years ago, before I started doing taxes for even myself and other friends, I actually was audited. A really good friend of mine, she was doing my taxes, and I never even asked her what she would put on my tax return. I just, hey girl, your refund $9,000. Okay, see you next year, and I never asked. And so I received a letter in the mail. I immediately contacted her, and she kind of just kept blowing me off.
Okay.
She blew me off. And because I did not do my due diligence at that time, I didn't know what to do. So I went to YouTube and I just started reading what the letter asked.
Okay.
And I had to compile those documents.
All right.
And so I made it my duty to say, if I ever got in that situation again, which I have not, that it would be because of something that I did. So I always have an understanding. And so again, the initial reaction is to be upset, be afraid, be scared, but it's nothing to be afraid of. I've had other preparers reach out to me for audit assistance with their clients, and I embrace it. I look at it as a challenge because it's something different from the normal tax returns that I see each and every year. So when I get it, I immediately, okay, this is what you need, you know, and I let that client know what they need, or that prepare what they need, and help them to get out of that situation. If I can.
If you can. But I think what you said definitely builds some confidence that there are answers, there are solutions, there's ways to remedy the situation. Because oftentimes when you get that letter, you're like, I'm done, you know, it's over. And it's not.
It's not, you know, and in some situations are, you know, a little more in depth than others. And, you know, but at least respond, because when you don't respond, that's when they, you know, issue garnishments and, you know, can take they can even take your home. They put liens on your credit. You know, you can't get your passport, you know, it's on your credit report, you can't get a house. So always actually, you know, confront it, you know, with a positive attitude. With a positive attitude, and it'll be okay.
Y'all hear that? Go get that letter off the dresser, off the kitchen counter, and respond to it. And there's wonderful, talented, experienced people like Gina who can help you. Now, I said we were going to switch hats. Because on top of being a tax preparer, you're also a big real estate agent.
Yes.
How has the housing market been for you these last few months?
Oh my God. It's a roller coaster. It is definitely a seller's market. Meaning that, you know, back in the day, you used to ask for the seller to pay your closing costs. You can reduce the price. You're getting home warranties. In today's market, you don't ask for anything. You actually, you know, of course, you're going to bid over it. You're going to offer money over the appraised value. And like I said, it's a seller's market. So buyers have to be truly serious about what they want, and they got to bring the cash. They got to bring extra money.
How long do you see this going on? Because I've heard people prognosticate that the bottom is going to drop out, you know, and this is all going to change. Do you see that on the horizon?
Not in 2022.
Okay. Not in 2022.
I can't say. I pray that it does level out at some point, but I don't foresee it not this year.
Okay. So, you know, I told our audience of the chit chatters, and I just want you to give our chit chatters some tips on buying a house. I know you just said bring your cash, but what else? I hear people saying now, you know, don't. Some people are not even requesting a what you call that when you get an inspection. So talk to us give them some buying tips.
Okay, number one, I don't care how much you love a home, never waive an inspection.
Okay.
Because that's your Carfax. You know, you don't know what you're buying. So I know that you may want it, love it, like it, dream about it. However, never waive your inspection.
Okay.
To kind of go back to taxes, you can't expect a large refund if you're writing off expenses. That actually, before we can even start shopping for a home, you need to make sure that your taxes are in order.
Gotcha.
So number one is your taxes. Make sure your taxes are in good standing, and that your income matches what your W-2s are.
Okay.
Of course, when you have a lender pull your credit report, you do not want to go furniture shopping. You know, as exciting as it may be, you want to keep everything the same, because that could actually affect your pre-approval.
Don't buy any major purchases during that time.
No, absolutely not. Not until after closing. And then you want to have a nice amount of savings put up, because you'll have a down payment. Again, you may pay over the asking price. And then, of course, when you get in a home, there's some things that you may want to upgrade. So you want to make sure that you're financially stable to afford those things. You don't want to get the house and then you can't survive outside of the house. So financially, you know, plan out the process.
Okay. And, you know, one of the things I was thinking about with people bidding for homes now and taking, you know, offering more than the home is appraised for, you know, cash. Are they going to recoup that? You know, is the value of the home, when you pay an extra $10,000, $20,000, how should we look at that? Is that just money? I'm doing this because I just want this so badly, or this is an investment?
Okay. Well, the value of the home, the bank is not going to actually finance it without it appraising for what you're offering. Now, if you actually pay over the appraised value, then the way that I look at it is, if you love the home enough to put that offer on there, then it's yours. This is your dream home. So I wouldn't necessarily take it as a loss, because you gained what you want. And in multiple offer situations, I have a listing right now, and I have 11 offers, and we just put it on the market yesterday. It's not including 11.
And you just put it on the market yesterday.
Yesterday, and showings today, and then we're cutting off tomorrow. So I've gotten letters, family situations, and if you truly love that home, then that's your home. You're going to put all your chips on the table.
Okay. So in January, you purchased a 7,000 square foot commercial building in Cordova, the Cordova Executive Suites. Now you offer these office suites for business owners. So let's talk about that in purchasing this building, this commercial building. What an undertaking. How was that for you?
Oh,
that's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. It is. And of course, God is the source, but my husband is a big force behind it as well, because he has motivated me and pushed me to make my dreams come true. My first office, which I currently still have, we were leasing, or we still are leasing it. But I told him when we met a couple of years ago, I want to buy a building, and he just stayed on me, babe. What's going on with the building? When are you going to do it? When are you going to put it into place? So it's an amazing feeling now that we're in it. The process was very seamless as far as financing goes, because all of our business affairs are in order. Our credit is in order. So for us, the lender was like, oh, we're the ideal client, because we've made sure that we're financially sound with business and personal assets that we currently have.
So should entrepreneurs, because everybody thinks about buying a home, should we start looking at commercial property to invest in?
Absolutely, but I would think not before I would say purchase the home first.
For those who have homes, is this a market for commercial property as well?
Yes, and there's a little bit. In our case, I can't. I'm not a commercial agent. I represented myself, so I was my first deal in commercial. Yeah, so there's a little bit more leeway when it comes to purchasing a commercial property, in my opinion, because you don't have that multiple offer situation depending on the price point. So, and I'll share our building was almost 700,000, and so we were the only people that actually bid on it, at that time. So we had some negotiations to go back and forth, and that's where we are. So yeah, our mortgage is very affordable, and we currently have tenants already there. We're about 60% occupied. We should be finished with renovations next week for a couple of other suites, and we're going to roll those out once those are leased. It just creates more generational wealth and another stream of passive income, because it pretty much maintains itself. The tenants there, and it's just, if you're able to do it, I think it's a great investment. And my thought process initially was get a building just to do taxes. But God steered us in a different way to where that building actually pays for our first location, as well as itself right now.
All right. Okay, so you're a tax preparer, you're a real estate agent, but you also do coaching for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Okay. Because I am very passionate about helping people. And you don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur, because I've came up the corporate ladder. So it can be in a position that you're lost and you're trying to figure out how to grow with the company, or you want to lead that company. You need, strategies on how to do that. But specifically for entrepreneurs, I have of course, the experience in it. So that's pretty much my niche, and that's the majority of my clients. So the way the process works is I send them a business questionnaire to ask them certain questions about their business. And depending on what they put on there, will let me know where our conversation should go.
And so once you take them in, do they spend, several weeks with you? Is it, months? How does that work in the coaching world?
It depends on where they are. And so the majority, unfortunately, they don't have the foundation of their business. Okay. So because I'm so passionate about it, to me, it's not all about the money. I will tell them, hey, I need you to go ahead and get your business bank account, get your federal tax ID, and get your LLC if you're going to do an LLC. Okay. And then let's revisit this call in 2 weeks. Because without having those basic fundamentals, I can't take you to the next step. So it just really depends on where they are. Okay. And I give them goals, and then we follow up with those goals, whether it be 2 weeks, 2 months, just depending on where they are within their business. And that's how we pretty much track their calls.
Okay. So as an entrepreneur coach, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see in people make in starting a business?
Not having a business plan.
Okay, not having a business plan.
You go online and you purchase an LLC and you think you're a business owner before you actually weighed out your pros and your cons, your competition, your marketing strategy, a budget. I started a business last week. I'm quitting my job. Ooh. No,
that's one I see a lot. Is you want to quit your job. And go ahead. I'll let you be the expert.
Yeah, so for me, and it kind of frustrates me because it's like I see the potential in what you want, sure, but you can't go from A to Z just like that. There's levels and there's steps to this, and that's where the social media does not necessarily show those steps, and people think that it's easy when it's not. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. So having a business plan in place first, will help you to succeed. And for me, if you have to work a job until you can fully fund your vision or your dream, your business, work it, don't just quit.
That's how you really know you're invested. Yes. If you're willing to do the work.
You gotta,
go ahead.
You gotta put the work in, and you gotta make some sacrifices. Any business venture I've ever started, I never count the money before I make it. I know in my head I'm gonna actually lose money. Okay, I'm gonna lose 6 months to a year, maybe even longer. Wow. I mentally prepare myself for that. Okay, and so if I win, that's great. Yeah. But in my mind, I'm already prepared to lose initially before the win.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's take that in, y'all. You got to prepare to lose for a minute. Yes. Don't get surprised that, used to, I don't know if they're saying it now, but used to, for the first 5 years, they said you were going to lose. Yes. Is that still the case, or should people have a different expectation?
For me, it is. I under promise and over deliver in anything. So that's my mindset. However, again, with social media and the world that we're in now, people just automatically think that you're going to win, and that's how, to me, businesses do not remain in business, or that tax company that you visited, they're no longer in business because they went in overhead without actually thinking. You have this plan, and this is your baby, and you love it. And you forget about reality.
So, Gina, did you know this? Did you have this kind of wisdom just growing up, just in your personal life that transferred over, or did you have to acquire this wisdom through school? Because that takes discipline, that takes maturity. So.
A combination of them all. So I was raised by my grandparents. Okay. And
so you're an old soul.
Yeah, I'm an old soul, but my grandmother is cheap. So I remember wanting certain things, and she was like, I'm not spending $100 on that. It was just too much. So my first job, I got it at the age of 14. Wow. And I'll never forget my first check. I spent my entire check on a Tommy Hilfiger outfit.
Really?
Yes. I was Tommy down. I wore it every week.
I'm still a Tommy Hilfiger girl.
Yeah. So that it came from me having to work to get it myself, and I value it more. Gotcha. School taught me some. I'm a University of Memphis graduate. It taught me structure. Right, girl, but the biggest lesson with financially planning and preparing to lose is when I was working at AT&T, and I was 8 7.5, 8 months pregnant, and they announced that they were actually closing the center.
Wow.
And I was not financially prepared. I didn't pay attention to interest rates. I had all the newest and the latest, greatest bags, new car, and I never thought that they would actually close. So when they closed, I'm, getting ready to have a baby, had a little money saved, but a few months after being on after having my daughter, I hit rock bottom.
Wow.
And so I vowed that I would never, ever in life do that again. Yeah. And I haven't.
Okay.
So that was the biggest lesson for me, losing everything and having to start over.
It is a lesson, honey.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
So I want you all to take this in. This is such an informative conversation. This young woman who is making, of course, boss moves in her life and willing to help others. And I think that is so key to avail yourself, to allow yourself to be coached, to be taught, to be poured into, because that makes all the difference in the world. And then there's nothing like your own lesson that you buy through experience. But I'm so thankful to hear that you are willing to coach others, because we see so many that are, for the lack of a better word, flaunting their success, but not turning back to say, hey, let me help some others up this ladder. Let me open this door of opportunity, even just for knowledge for somebody else. And I think that's so important in this season that we're living in, where social media is exposing everybody to such images, if you will. Whether those images are false or real, we don't know, but images of success. There are people who are feeling like, I wish that I could do that. So, okay, I love it. I love it that you're coaching. So how has multiple streams of income helped you to be financially secure? What has that done for you to tax preparation, real estate, coaching? Now you're doing the commercial things. What has that done for you?
Oh my God.
For the girl that spent her first check, her whole check on something.
It's like a breath of fresh air. It's really an indescribable feeling. But I always, in the back of my mind, I always think that taxes, God forbid something can happen where everybody has to now do their taxes, or the building may burn. Like, I always think, what if something happens?
Sure.
So for me, although I am financially stable, I still think worst case scenario. And I think that keeps me ahead.
Yeah.
I still live, of course, I live life, but for every dollar that I spend, in the back of my mind, I've made it up some way or another.
Okay. That's a good point, you all. For every dollar that you spend, in your mind, think about where you're going to make it up or have made it up. Can we say $1 you spend, $1 you save?
Yes.
All of that. So these are some good tips that we all need to embrace.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how close I am to a commercial break, but because I got some juicy stuff I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I mean, this was all good, but my chit chatters, they like a little juice too.
I got the juice.
But so I think what I'm going to do is stop here and take a commercial break. We are just having this wonderful conversation with Gina Williams, and she is a boss lady. She's doing it, and she's willing to help others. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Conversations. You all, I know you're enjoying this conversation that I'm having with Gina Williams. Mark that name down because you're going to be hearing it all over Memphis. And I believe even outside of Memphis as well. Look at me being prophetic, girl. So now I got to get to the juice.
Okay.
Few personal questions. You remarried over a year ago and celebrated your 1 year anniversary. And congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anybody that knows me knows I just love love. And I've been married for 35 years, going on 36 years. And so I endorse marriage. You know, I know that a lot of people think it's out of style, out of date, but God wants us to do it the right way. So that's just me. How's it going, girl?
It is amazing.
Okay.
When you are loved properly.
Oh, loved properly. Yes.
When you are loved properly, valued, honored, and respected the way God truly said that a man should honor his wife, it's an indescribable feeling.
Did you know that you weren't loved properly? Did you know what proper love was before you got into this marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew with my first marriage that it was not what it should have been from the beginning.
Okay.
From the beginning. But like many others, you ignore the signs, or you think that certain things are going to change, certain behaviors.
Sure.
Oh, I'm gonna fix him. And so yes, I knew. I knew what I wanted to be loved by.
Okay.
I mean, because again, I was raised by my grandparents. They were married 50 years before my grandfather passed. So I grew up in a household full of love, and I knew what that looked like.
Okay.
But for me, I've always had this in me to try to fix or make a person be what I want them to be versus them coming to me already whole and prepared.
Yeah. And, I think we don't know that we're not always sure that exists as women, that there are some men out there that are whole, that are healed. If they've been broken, they are healed. And so having that expectation, I think is a plus. I think we need to wrap our minds around that there is the possibility.
Absolutely. And to be honest, it's not in someone else's husband.
Oh, girl, you preaching that.
You can't expect for God to give you your soulmate if you're with someone else's. And being patient and loving yourself first. Those are very essential. And not ignoring those signs. The
red flags.
The red. When you see
red, you all over the face.
When you see red, run. But a lot of times we know and we just ignore. But to go back to your question of there is love. I coming out of my first marriage, I thought that it would be hard, but my main thing was focusing on myself and my daughters at that time.
Okay.
So I was not looking for love. I was not looking to get remarried. I just wanted to date and just live, and just live. And, my husband found me.
I think that's when it comes, is when you take your mind off of it, when you're not so consumed and that desperate feeling living with you. I think that's when it really finds its way into your life.
Absolutely.
And I love that you said about what you said about not in somebody else's husband. My mother used to tell me all the time, Gina, she used to say, you cannot build your happiness on top of somebody else's misery. So when you are the other woman, the side chick, you cannot expect that love and all of that, and loyalty, fidelity is going to be your future when you have been a part of ruining it for someone else.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad to hear you say that. And I hope all of y'all hear this beautiful woman saying that she was patient as well.
Yes.
Because I'm sure, people, women in particular, can look at you and say, I'm sure she had men beating her door down, so it wasn't hard for her to get a good man.
Yeah, but no. So when I first got out of my first marriage, I just wanted to just live and just live, and just relax.
Sure.
So like I said, it wasn't, being in a serious relationship was not on my agenda.
Okay.
And so I started dating, but having the prior experience, because I took that as an experience, I knew the red flags. And so a lot of times when you meet a guy, you know, y'all talk a few times and then y'all go on 1 or 2 dates and the next week y'all boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so you don't actually know them. You don't establish boundaries. You don't establish friendships with them. And that was something that I can attest to I didn't do previously.
Okay.
The foundation was not there from the beginning.
Okay.
So knowing and growing from that situation, going forward, I knew to ask specific questions. And where somebody else will be scared, I ask, what is your credit score? What's in your bank account?
Okay.
COVID hit. If we don't go back to work for 6 months, are you financially stable? My husband,
because those are red flags.
Those are red flags.
Those are red flags.
Those are red flags. And so my husband and I, our very first date, I will never forget. It was probably about 2.5, 3 hours. We sat at a restaurant and we had the most uncomfortable, comfortable conversation with each other. And, you know, we talked about life. We talked about goals. I told him, you know, I did not want to be married. He'd been previously married. He said he wanted to get me remarried, you know, in the future. And I just told him, I don't want to. But I think
that's interesting. You didn't want to get remarried and he did.
Yeah. He did.
But obviously he hung in there.
Absolutely. I think he took it as a challenge because from that day forward, every single day he pursued me and still does.
I love that because men, you know, by nature are pursuers, whether it's they like to hunt, you know, whatever they like to do. And I don't know that we get that. So he pursued you and he's still pursuing you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, no, us as women, I think we, in our minds, we do the pursuing. And I was guilty of it years ago as well. And it got me, you know, of course. So let him pursue you. Yeah. Wherever he is in life, he will do better for himself and for his spouse if he wants to. You can't make him. You can't change him. You can't wear green today, pink tomorrow, and think that it's going to change. It's not. It has to be within him. So 2022.
Well, they say the only male you can change is one that's wearing a diaper. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just really, really key. All the things that you're saying. And though we hear it all the time through those who do motivational speaking, do preaching, like I think you just got to keep hearing it for it to be seated in your soul for you to finally get it. So
you do.
You know, even though you may be hearing this today and you're saying, okay, here's another person. Maybe today you're changing someone's outlook on life.
I hope so. One thing that always stuck with me is through the ups and downs in my previous marriage, you know, I never shared anything with my grandmother. My grandmother is my heart. And the reason why is because, and other family members too, to a certain extent, because I wanted them to view him for who he was and who they saw him to be.
Absolutely.
And so even with going to her and tell her that I had filed for divorce, it took a lot for me to do that because I wanted to be sure. I didn't want it to be one of those things where I go to her and we get divorced today and then tomorrow we back together.
Yeah.
So I remember having the conversation with her and I was so nervous because she truly adored him and she knew nothing about anything.
Wow.
And so I said, you know, Grandma, my main concern is that no one will love me the way that he loves me because I know that he loved me. He just had a hard time and, you know, showing it. And my grandmother said to me, you're going to find somebody that's going to love you even better. And when she said it, it was like my soul was like snatched. Like I felt it. And not even 30 days later, I met my husband.
Wow. That sounds like that needs to be on a t-shirt or something. Somebody's going to love you better. Okay. I got to ask this. I heard, because you talked about it on social media, they tell me that he's quite a bit older than you.
Yes.
Can we ask how much older?
He is 10 years older than me.
Oh, I thought y'all were talking about like 15 or 20 years. Okay, no. But not more than a decade.
No, he's 10. Oh, no, sorry. And I just had a birthday last month. He's 11 years old.
Okay, 11 years old. Okay.
He's 11 years old.
How's that working for you?
It's amazing because he has really made me mature in a lot of ways. And
yeah.
he has made me, I've always been fearless, but he's made me even more brave. And the reason, I think one of the reasons, because I truly have support now.
Yeah.
In previous relationships, I was, the breadwinner. I, made things happen. If something went wrong, I'm the one to figure it out. I can lay my head on my shoulder knowing that my husband is going to figure whatever out.
That's good. Yes. That's good. And that'll be another show, because there are differences there. It makes a difference in the age. My husband's 5 years older than I am. It makes a difference in the age. And when we start to pass a decade, there's some things that we need to be aware of. But within that 10-year span, there are some advantages.
Absolutely.
He's gone through some stages that
he's gone
through.
Yes.
Go ahead.
He's gone through stages. He treats me like a lady. A lot of men will say my queen, my queen, my queen, and they don't even know the half of it. He opens doors every day. I don't go to the gas station at all. He makes sure that if a light breaks today, he's on it today.
He's a real man.
Yeah, he is a real man. He is a man.
Okay.
Now, on the flip side, he can't boil an egg. So he ain't doing nothing in that kitchen.
That's what I'm saying. You need to know. Listen, I need to do a whole show on this, because you need to know those differences when you get that span of age, that age gap. The advantages are he's chivalrous.
Absolutely.
He's opening those doors, but he's also, that 10-year difference has another expectation for what he wants in a wife.
Absolutely. And I do it 7 days.
There you go, girl.
Winter, sleet, rain, snow, whatever. It does not matter.
Because I think too that often as women, we're looking for that man's man, that alpha male. We're looking for him to care for us and take care of the heavy lifting, but we're not necessarily aware of what we have to do. Fix his plate.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. He sit down and he knows I'm bringing his.
You're a smart girl.
Yes,
you're a smart girl. Okay, your grandmama raised you right. Yeah, because I believe good men still exist. But I also believe we gotta make it a point to be good women as well.
And where you want him to be is where you need to be. You can't expect a man to make 6 figures if you making minimum wage.
Okay.
So you be where your expectations are.
Okay. So you come to the table with something.
With your table.
With the table.
You bring your table, I bring my table, and we're gonna bring that. We're gonna have one.
Okay, we just have a bigger table.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I am so glad that you have found love.
Thank you.
And happiness.
Thank you.
And you're making boss moves with all of the things that you're doing. And I know that this is inspiration for my chit chatters, young and old.
Absolutely.
I'll be 55 in May. And girl, look, I am. Look. I'm dreaming new dreams, of the things that I'm going to do next in my life. And I think that in honor of Women's History Month, these are the conversations that we need to be having wherever we are on the age spectrum.
Absolutely.
Inspiring one another to keep dreaming and I love what you just said about your husband, that he's made you brave. You were already fearless, and now there's another element that he's brought to you. And I think that we can do that for one another, even as women, is help one another to be brave.
Absolutely.
So what's next on the horizon for Gina Williams?
What is next on the horizon? Investing more. Okay. My husband and I, we actually had this conversation last night. What's next for us? And so we wrote down a few ideas.
Okay.
And we're just going to pray about them and ask God to lead us in the right direction.
Ooh, nothing before you pray.
Nothing before we pray. So number 1 is to get our building at 100% capacity. And then from there, we'll grow into other business ventures.
Okay. Well, I'll be praying for you well. 100% capacity. I'm going to write that down in my prayer journal.
Thank you.
For you all to do that.
Thank you.
Well, listen, you all, I hope you have been inspired and Yeah, and informed with your inspiration. Gina Williams is making boss moves here in the Memphis area, and I believe that that is going to expand outside of where we are. Nothing but going to the top for Gina. Listen, I am out of time, but never out of conversation. Y'all know I get caught up in these great conversations, but tune in each Sunday evening here at Conversations with Linda, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You all have a blessed week. I'll see you soon.